Hello, it's Hump Day and we're here to celebrate all things delicious and wonderful coming from the Yarra Valley. I am Rebecca, I'm from Kangaroo Ridge Retreat and one of the boutique accommodations from the Yarra Valley in the heart, Hillsville, and I'm here with...
I'm Ben from Watts River Brewing. We make delicious beer here in the Yarra Valley. And there's also...
There. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Can't hear you. Go ahead. Go again.
We're Sara and Jon.
Jon to everyone. We're from Hop It, basically a hop on hop off service for Yarra Valley and Mornington Peninsula.
And
and together we are Wednesday Winos. And tonight we're going dark. So Hop It, would you like to tell us what we're tasting tonight?
Definitely. We're really looking forward to tasting the Pinot Noir from Warramunda State, the 2017. So I've got that ready to go, and I hope everyone else does this too. If you got one of the Warramunda wines at home and they got like this really waxy seal, we're going to tell you how to open it properly without cutting your thumb. And then we're also tasting Jon's favorite, which is the Imperial Stout. And yeah, we're definitely going dark. This is going to be a good one to taste. So I think we're getting in Liv, the winemaker, one of the winemakers from Warramunda first. There she is. Welcome.
Hi, Liv. Hang on, wait a minute. You're still on mute. Go ahead.
Hi.
You can talk now.
Can I talk now? Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Oh, good.
Thanks.
Welcome to Wednesday Winos.
Woohoo.
Should we pour a glass first?
Yeah, pour a glass.
Certainly need to try this out.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the wine that we're drinking before we
So this one here is our 2017 Estate Pinot Noir. What's quite interesting about this Pinot is that we have 4 different clones of Pinot Noir going in to make this wine. So Warramunda in itself is actually a multi-clonal vineyard. And we have 7 clones, but for this vintage, we've got the 4 going into here. It's a nice medium-bodied style Pinot Noir, really beautiful, aromatic, big nose, which comes from winemaking, obviously. It's quite a labor of love to make this wine. It's not that straightforward, requires a lot of work, and it's quite fiddly, which is always fun.
Anyway, so like cheers it. We all drank a bit anyway, but cheers to everyone else.
Yeah. Okay,
Sorry, I couldn't wait.
Yes, happy Wednesday.
Cheers. Happy Wednesday.
Delicious.
So tell us a bit about Warramunda.
Yep. So we are a small family winery here in the Yarra Valley. We bought the property back in 2007. It was an established vineyard, and since then what we've done is we've reshaped the vineyards and obviously started making wine from the property, and now we have Warramunda Estate. Our philosophy for wine is, premium wines, we don't like to put anything nasty in them. So all the wines are vegan. We are not, but they are. And there's nothing in there. So we're not adding any nasty sulfites or preservatives. Basically, what is growing out in the vineyard ends up in the bottle. We're not doing much to it in the winery at all. What else do you need to hear about me? I have my own wine label, Liv Zak Wines.
When did that start?
So I started my own wine label back in 2015. Which is a few years after Warramunda kicked off back in 2012. So yeah.
Lovely.
And you work, the Warramunda is all one family, so your parents.
Yeah. So basically, when we can reopen the cellar door, no matter what weekend you come, one of us, if not all of us, will be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. We I can't remember when it was. It was definitely late last year. Yeah. We went to Warramunda on I think it was a public holiday, and it was amazing. Like, your mum does make the most amazing platters. It's so good. And your dad, he's pouring the wine, and it was so nice.
Sun was out. It was probably about 25 degrees, and it was just
perfect
in the decking area there, and just overlook the vineyard, and
it's beautiful.
Glass of wine and the charcuterie board in front of you. It's nice that your parents are serving, and they're with that family vibe. It's really good.
Lovely.
Really.
Sorry, Ben, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I just would recommend everyone visits there, because whenever we've been there, we've been greeted so warmly. We've had a really good time. Our daughter Abigail at the time, I think, ate all the cleansing cheese, and there was no complaints. But it was just so welcoming, and the wines are just so fantastic that it's a really good spot to visit. So,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
A lovely drive into it, because you've got the vineyards, you're quite on a flat area, and then you look out into you can see the hills where you're located at the spot.
Oh yeah.
Do you drive past there, or what how does it work with your route with Warramunda?
Yeah, so do you want to take this one?
No, you go for it.
So we drive our routes, the Hoppit route, we basically come around every hour on the Warramunda Highway. So we pass it every hour.
Yeah.
So just before COVID and lockdown, we were looking at expanding our hop on, hop off routes and having a couple more, and including Warramunda. So that will be happening as soon as we're allowed back out. And
Please do.
Melbourne, and come out to the Yarra Valley and get to try out Warramunda themselves.
Definitely. So, Liv, we got to ask, tell us about the wax seal.
Okay, so, well, that's the wax. I should start off by saying is, how do I word this properly without sounding stupid? So, I and my family really, really love the Rhone Valley in France. And there's a specific producer that we love as well. And one of the things that they do with all their premium whites and reds is they put it under a wax seal. We always knew with Warramunda wines we were going to have them under cork, and that was a conscious decision. The cork itself is called a diam cork. Essentially removes pretty much all the risks of having any sort of fault with a natural cork. And we just needed to come up with a way to seal the wine. Thank you. That's the diam cork there. And if you look in, like a lot of people actually ask this, you'll see that it can't fracture like a natural cork can.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So we don't have any risks of basically cork taint, cork issues. Bacteria can't live in there, which obviously some people say is cork taint. So diam corks, absolutely fantastic. I've never had an issue with them.
Wow.
We then hand dip every single bottle into our lovely gold wax. So we're about to gear up to do that again very soon with some Liv Zak wines, actually, for the first time ever going under wax, which it's going to be a painful few days, but the labor of love is there. Now, a lot of people do ask me, how do we open the bottles of wine? Well, we actually have branded ones of these, but this is our wax cutter. So you believe it or not, all you simply do is pop it on, you twist, and it comes off.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are using the knife bit on the end of their corkscrew, and
you can't see my right hand right now, but it's actually
it's gone. It's gone.
I'll probably have to go to this, but.
Imagine being in the cellar door when you're pumping, going crazy, needing to open up stock, and you have to do it with the knife. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the 4 clones about the wine, because we have a little bit more about the estate wine. What makes this the estate wine versus, say, the bottom range? Because this is quite the top end of your range with the estate. So tell what's the difference, and what makes it $55 as opposed to $30? I think the other wines that you sell.
38.
38.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. Yeah. So basically, we got to look at the vineyard first. Here we focus on biodynamical principles, so nothing nasty going into that vineyard either. Now we do have 7 different clones of Pinot Noir on the property. For this specific vintage, we have 4 of those clones going in. Now that means that each clone ripens separately, so they don't all kind of come off like clockwork. They did for this year, which was a bit unusual. Good old 2020 throwing a spanner in the works. But every other year they always ripen really separately. And so basically we go through, we hand pick everything, we take it back to the winery, and then we sort. So essentially every single parcel of grapes that comes in, we pop it onto a sorting table, and we pick out the most uniform, the most pretty, pardon the pun, bunches. They go into one fermenter. Now, the other bunches that haven't made that cut go through our destemming machine, and we destem off the whole berries, and they go into their own fermenter. And that's across all clones. So for this specific wine, we actually made 8 wines that after barreling got blended in together. They go through a process during fermentation called carbonic maceration. So essentially carbonic maceration is a fermentation with inside the grape. There's no oxygen in that ferment. So essentially the ferment's imploding. It's drawing in all the colors, flavors, tannins from the skin of the grape into the middle of the grape. We typically keep carbonic going for about 14 days. Then we open up the lids of the fermenters. All the whole bunch gets destemmed and pressed. All the whole berry gets pressed. We go off to barrel. This guy here is 25% new French oak, with the residual being 1, 2, and 3-year-old neutral barrels. And it spent 16 months in barrel as well. It's also spent a minimum year in bottle before release. And obviously it's been released for just a little bit now, just prior to COVID shutting us down. So it's had quite a while in bottle now, which is drinking really beautifully. So the difference between my Pinot and this Pinot is obviously all the hard work that goes into this. Mine fairly typically is along the lines the same, just not as crazy. There's not as much sorting. The oak treatment is completely different. There's very little new oak into my wine. And that just makes it more accessible from an earlier drinking age. Whereas this guy here has got a long cellaring capacity. You'll notice when you smell it, that nose, it's really aromatic. And that's from that carbonic maceration as well. It's really targeting all those flavors. Really fabulous upfront red fruit characteristics. For me, I get a lot of cranberry, raspberry, strawberry, and then it flips and it turns really, really savory. And that's where I'm sure everyone who's been to the cellar door has had a little bit of prosciutto with the Pinot, and that's because it connects in so beautifully with tertiary characteristics being cured meats, mushrooms, earthiness, and that's what Pinot is.
I have to say, it's absolutely gorgeous. This is fantastic. I mean, I'm a big. What turned me to Pinot was actually Punt Road, wasn't it? No, but honestly, this is on par, maybe better. I would say.
So, how are you guys going at the moment in terms of? I don't want to say the word.
It's challenging.
Yeah.
We really do wish the cellar door could be open. One of our big things, and this is kind of a big characteristic to us being a family business, and obviously all of us being there, is that when you guys come to the cellar door, you might see staff members, but you always see us.
Yeah.
So a really big thing for us is obviously, delivering an exceptional service and standard and great wine and great food. So not being able to do that every week has really been quite difficult. I think everybody's doing it tough at the moment. We just need to keep pushing on, and hopefully hospitality can come back sooner rather than later.
And I think now more than ever, especially when people go back to the Yarra Valley, having that sense of family and that extra kind of that service that you give is going to be really important to differentiate you and just stand you out from the rest. People are going to want to come to you for that.
Yeah,
I think that's really that's great.
No, definitely, and we really are missing it. It's funny, we do see on social media, and we do get a lot of feedback from people saying, "Oh, we just want to come back, can't wait."
Yeah,
and we really appreciate it, because kind of during all this lockdown, you kind of wonder, oh my God, is anyone ever going to come back?
They're all waiting.
From the way that my guests are talking, when they're messaging me, they're desperate to come out.
Yeah.
They're desperate to see the openness, and see people and be in presence of people and enjoy fantastic products. I guess that's the thing that they.
So, Rebecca, you at Kangaroo Ridge, do you have because I know you've got wine fridges in your lodges. Do you have Warramunda in there as well? Warramunda wine?
Not yet. Not
Yet.
I have a wholesale list, and I really I'm a bit sneaky actually, and I this is the audition. No, seriously, I know there's a couple of wineries around nearby that, but everywhere's nearby. So I'm really excited because I wanted to touch base with Warramunda for a while anyway. And there's a random thing. I spoke to Liv when I was researching a bit of Warramunda and Liv Zak, where I went on their Facebook pages, and you can see. I did ask you this, and I did. There's a person in that picture of the Facebook for Liv Zak, and turns out we're actually related, and that means also to Watts River for Hannah, we're actually related. And has a story in Hillsville. So, Liv, tell us the story about this other person.
Well, in my other life, so obviously my father groomed me to go into winemaking and viticulture, and at the ripe old age of 18, I rebelled, and I went off and I got a degree, and I started working in film and TV here in Australia and overseas. And the person in my photo was a dear friend of mine who is an actor on a TV show I used to work for, and his name's Andrew Morley. So when he was in my makeup chair getting ready for set, I said to him, "Hey, if I pay you in wine, can you come and be in my photo shoot?" And he said, "Yeah." So mega props to Andrew.
It was
Wow.
pretty random because that family is pretty much connected to the story of how our family actually moved to Hillsville in the 60s. So it's all coming from this, like that. The two brothers that came, his father is the brother. No, his grandfather is the brother of my grandfather. If that makes sense. We share, yeah, we share.
Something like that. Something like
Tonight
that.
was meant to be.
Yeah.
But, you know,
In the
it's not
stars.
a name drop or anything. It's more that it was just a random connection that you go, whoa, I know that person. There was a family reunion that I met him at, and then he probably doesn't even know who we exist. So,
So, do we know you from anywhere? Any films? Any series?
There's a few.
Really?
Depends, I guess, what you watch. In terms of Australian film, I was up in Queensland working on quite a lot of the shows up there, so like Aquaman and Pirates of the Caribbean, all those kind of ones.
Oh my gosh!
Wow! But I predominantly spent most of my time over in Vancouver, so I worked a lot with the CW network. So that was kind of, in terms of TV shows, you know, Supernatural, Arrow, all those sorts of things.
Oh, this is all down.
Funny, there's actually a person who always frequents our cellar door, and he always comes in mainly to ask me about who I know who's a celebrity, and I think he really enjoys it. So, Dave, if you're watching tonight, I mentioned you.
You're a celebrity now. Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we didn't know that. A bit of a dark horse, mate.
Yeah.
And the
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah, no, I actually, this is digressing a little bit, but I worked on The Walking Dead making prosthetic zombie heads.
No.
And my biggest kind of claim to fame on that was I took one home and put it in in the hotel bed. And when the maid came to clean everything, she nearly had a heart attack, and I got in a lot of trouble for it, and I got fired for it. So that's my big never do these pranks ever again.
We love The Walking Dead, favorite TV show over here. So
lovely.
Thank you for making the prosthetics.
I'm only one of many.
What's the best way to order your wine, and where do you get it? And
So www.warramundaestate.com.au. We've got a brand new website and a new wine store as well. Very easy, very efficient. That's probably the best place at this stage. With obviously Victoria being in quite a hard lockdown, normal retail outlets aren't always applicable because they're out of our 5K radius.
Yeah.
But we can do Australia Post. We can deliver through Hop It, and everything's great.
What about your own label? Is that website as well?
Yep, all on the website, exactly the same.
Lovely. Are these things on there? Not this thing, but the other thing.
This is on there. Foil as well. It's a really good all-rounder.
Yeah.
Lovely. This is super delicious. And so we've got to kind of transition to the Sasquatch, the other dark one, which we're very excited to try and talk about. So, and there was a bit of a debate whether to go beer, then wine then beer. Apparently it's breaking rules, but
I don't know.
tell us about the Sasquatch.
Well, it's we're just deciding what sort of special batch to do there. About a month or a little bit over ago, and being middle of winter, we decided to do a Imperial Stout. So just means a really big stout. So lots of alcohol, really big, bold. So we've done that, and it's actually sold out in less than a week since we released. We only bottled it last Monday, not just gone, but the one before, and sold out in less than a week, which was a record for us for a special batch. So it's been quite popular. But you can still get it if you order the Wednesday Winos pack on our websites and your guys' website. So we put a few aside for that. So that's the only way you can get it at the moment. And
how many is it?
but we basically, like all our other beers, it's quite dry for its style. So a lot of Imperial stouts are quite sweet and really heavy, and
It's true.
I find it a little bit too hard to drink. So ours is very dry for the style, which makes it quite approachable for a really, really big beer. So it's got some dark roasty flavors. Like you might get hints of coffee, cocoa nibs, all that sort of stuff. And still got quite a good body to it as well. So quite, for the style of beer, it's quite drinkable.
I have to say, I had a sorry.
Sarah, you're about to ask something before.
Oh no, I was asking the alcohol. How much alcohol is in there for people that don't have it at home at the moment?
8.8%. So, but Imperial can even go higher than that. So it's in the range. So.
Last night I made a chicken tandoori masala, and it went very well with that. And I went through 3 bottles of it. And normally, if I have an Imperial stout, I can only do 1 because, just like you said, it gets quite sweet and it gets quite sickly after a pint of it. You know.
Yeah.
I could drink all night, which is pretty deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's kind of our thing, is to really take those traditionally sweet big beers when we do a big beer and just dry it out. Like it's still got sweetness to it, but I think it's more balanced than a lot of those, like the average really big beer. So we really try to balance out the flavors. So that's really, even at a big beer, it tastes sessionable, even though that kind of makes it a little bit dangerous. So.
Yeah.
What malt Liv?
Sorry?
What do you think of it as a winemaker?
I was just about to say, I think it drinks really beautifully. It's got such a smooth finish to it, and that crispness. It kind of sucks you in and you want to keep sipping, which is super important. I'm actually a big stout fan, and I really, really, really like this. I would definitely knock back a few of these. But I feel the alcohol would creep up on me. But that's just
it's like we do a quad every now and then, a Belgian style, 11%, and people say, "Oh, that's way too strong." And then we just say, treat it like a wine. Like even serve it in a wine glass, and it opens up. It'll open up more in a wine glass, and let it warm up a little bit.
It's amazing.
So you just got to change your mindset when you're drinking a really big beer. Like change your mindset to like you're drinking a wine, and really appreciate every mouthful or whatnot. So
no, it's really even that you're mentioning the like cacao nibs and the coffee. For me, it just sings through, but it's not overwhelming, which is really quite interesting. It's kind of still light enough that makes you. It's so inviting, I think, is what I'm looking for, because you just want to keep sipping and sipping and sipping and yum.
Good.
Congratulations on it being sold out.
Yeah. Cheers.
So, tell us about the artwork. Who did the artwork with the Sasquatch?
It's a good question. Aaron actually does most of our label stuff. So I don't know is the answer, which is a bit embarrassing. But Aaron packed it. He did all the labels and all that. So for people that don't know, Aaron's the other brewer and business partner at Watts River. So we don't see a lot of each other these days because we're working as teams, which is a bit sad. So
working those guys. You got one team and then the other team to make sure.
We started that early, so we've been in teams since first lockdown. So we really haven't seen each other for
6 months.
6 months basically, which
is
wow, crazy.
And it makes it really hard to run a business when you're
of course
that way. But
but
it's
But, even though this one is almost sold out, apart from what we've got left on the website, you obviously got a range of other beers as well, and all of those are available through the website as well. Your website.
Yes, they are. So that's the best way to order. It's the easiest for us. You can ring if you've got any questions or if you're not great with computers or whatever. So you can ring up and order during our opening hours, and we can process it that way. But website's easy. We have free delivery to Greater Melbourne and Geelong and the Yarra Valley normally every Thursday we deliver. So
great.
And you yourself and Warramunda as well, are you guys in some independent like bottle shops as well that people could get it?
Yeah. So there's bottle. On the website there is a beer finder, but it's a bit out of date. We've had a couple of issues with it, but yeah, you can ring us or send us an email, and we can point a bottle shop near you, or ask your bottle shop to get it in, and we'll deliver it there on the Thursdays. So
I was going to say we're pretty much in the same boat as you. Since COVID, that list hasn't been updated, but mind you, distribution retail in Victoria has been slightly slower due to COVID. I really do respect the small independent guys. I mean, they're doing it really tough and they are doing a good job. So I always like to support them as much as possible, especially away from the bigger guys. But yeah, it's a bit tricky at the moment. So if you do are looking for something, let them know and then they can give us a call or vice versa.
Yeah, for sure. Like we'll get beer to people and Warramunda will get wine to people. Like you just communicate with us and we're all pretty friendly most of the time.
We'll get a Stout in us.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring back to the beer because I didn't quite catch it. What malt and all the hops and all the bits and pieces, what are the ingredients?
There's lots of, I printed out the ingredients for anyone that, where is it? Over there.
Look!
Well, that's our recipe for anyone that wants to try to make it at home. Basically,
You're giving away your recipe.
What's that?
You're giving away your recipe. Love it.
We always give away recipes. Like there's no we don't. If people want to know what's in any of our beers, we'll tell them, and we will. I'll print that out for them if they want it.
So get into contact with Watts if you want the recipe for the Imperial. But anyway, what's in there? Just let me know.
Like there's base malt, which is just pale malt, like in every beer. Most malt is pale. And then we've got some wheat, which adds some mouthfeel, and some oats, which do the same sort of thing. Then we've got some chocolate malt, some roasted barley, and some brown malt. So that's where the dark and roasty coffee flavors come from, is those darker roasted malts.
Yeah, beautiful.
Nice.
Love it.
It's super delicious. So do you have a shameless plug that you want to shamelessly say something to our audience and also in the future or anything, because this is meant to be evergreen content?
Shameless plug. Yeah, I was supposed to come up with one, wasn't I?
Hang on, wait a minute. Something's happening tomorrow and something's happening on Friday. What's happening tomorrow?
Tomorrow there's
Next Thursday.
Meet the brewer. So Aaron's doing that. So that's on a Facebook Live thing. So you can go to our website to our Facebook page to get more information. So you can see Aaron talking and ask him questions.
Pretty much like what we're here.
Pretty much what we're doing here. And then Friday I'm doing a delivery run to the Wimmera where I grew up, and we get barley from our farm from the farm I grew up on to make our beer, which is pretty unique. And on Friday we're doing a delivery run back up there. So
excellent.
First time, the longest drive I've been on in 6 months, but maybe I can't stay there and really catch up with my family, but I'll be dropping off beer to them, saying a quick hello and goodbye, and driving 4 hours back. But if you're in Matoa or around there, get online, and if you order before midnight tomorrow, we'll do free delivery.
Fabulous. Liv, what about you? Have you got a shameless plug?
Sure do. We have our Father's Day pack, which will be live from obviously now up until a week after Father's Day. We recently got a pretty phenomenal review on our to-be-released 2018 Cabernets, which is a Cabernet blend. It got a 97, which we are thrilled about. It marks the 20th vintage of our vineyard. So pretty cool, and a lot of people want that wine. So the only way to get that is if you buy the Father's Day pack that my father put together. So it's online. If you buy a 6-pack size, guys, all you get is free delivery. But if you buy a dozen, there is a pretty hefty discount and obviously free delivery. So it's definitely a pack to look out for.
Sensational. Have you got a shameless plug?
What do you want to plug, John? Not talk.
I'd probably say for us it'd be the tasting.
Tasting, yeah. We're working on another public tasting that we're putting together with a winery in the Yarra Valley, which we don't want to talk about just yet. It'll hopefully be released this weekend. So we did a public tasting the other week, and we'll be having chocolate and rum again. But yeah, there's going to be an awesome winery, and more will be released this weekend.
Basically, meet the makers kind of thing, just like what's through a brewery kind of thing. Rum maker, chocolate maker, wine maker. Yeah.
I must say, we did your previous virtual tasting, so it's a little bit different to what we offer. But you've got it feels you've got all these people coming together and talking to the makers, and then kind of the journey from the evening on a Friday night coming together. It's a little bit longer than I expected, but it was actually a Friday evening event for us, and we enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah. We got a bit carried away and went for 2 hours.
It was delicious, so
What about you, Beck?
from my shameless plug, we have an online shop now, but the only thing that we're selling is gift vouchers. So if you're interested in gift vouchers for your dad to stay with us when we can up and run, well, you can name your amount, or there's certain packages, the sneaky midweeky in the future where you get a tour and, tell your tour driver to go to Warramunda, for example, where they can discover the awesome Pinot. That is on offer for us at the moment for Father's Day or whenever, and we've got some things in the works, so I'm excited. I won't tell secrets. Watch this space.
Can I also say, we came up shamefully only now. We've been operating around the Yarra Valley for about a year and a half now, and the first time we came up to Kangaroo Ridge was last week.
To deliver the tasting pack.
And I must say, the first thing I said was, wow, the view was spectacular.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's just
10 second that.
And we got a little private tour around the huts, the
cabins.
The cabins.
Yeah.
Drinks, whatever,
I just want to come up and use that bath. The bathtub overlooks the view of the Yarra Valley. It is just spectacular.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of work as well.
Yeah.
I love the wine fridge, and it's
just beautiful as a getaway. So whoever's watching, you want to have a nice getaway after lockdown, highly recommend. And then visit the brewery.
Oh, shucks.
Can second that. Honestly, driving up there was phenomenal. You have amazing views. Everything looks spectacular. Your website's great. I know you're like, oh, it's all word of mouth because we're super cool, and I completely respect that because it is. It is bloody awesome. I've already passed you on to a lot of people.
Thank you. I have to say the driveway is a much smoother experience than it was 6 months ago. So that's one of our ISO projects that I'm very proud about. Ben, you're yet to see it. And I think you'll really think it's amazeballs. It's just super cool.
Is it going to hold up with the rain, though?
Yeah, totally. It's still there.
We filled up our bus up there the other day, and it rained a couple of days before.
Mm.
We've had a couple of people get stuck in the drains prior to it happening, and then it's really embarrassing. Had they told us that they were coming, we would have forewarned them. But yeah, now not an issue. So. But anyway, to end, always at the end of our Wednesday Winos, we love to leave on a high note. And even though we've had a shameless plug about ourselves, these times at the moment, without saying the C word, we always want to leave. We want to say something positive that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Liv, have you had anything really positive that you would love to share with everybody to say?
Definitely.
Yep.
I mean, positive to COVID, which I've been saying to a lot of people, has been that we're out in nature, and nature is thriving at the moment. We have big brew mobs coming through. We've got kookaburras everywhere. It's phenomenal. And it actually, the air's cleaner. We've got little pollution. It's really phenomenal at the moment with, how everything kind of is bouncing back. We as a population might not be doing as well, but nature around us is absolutely slaying it, which I think is really important.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely.
Good one.
No, that's good.
And
Winter is over. Sunshine, longer days. that is my really big positive. Just I know it makes me feel a lot better when there's sunshine and longer days. So I hope it makes everyone else feel better too.
Yeah. You can enjoy those smashable beers more.
Yes.
Not in your lounge, but outside in the sun as the sun
Sure.
goes down. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly.
For us, I think our friends from Sydney, they've moved down to Melbourne last week. I know, why would anyone do this in this time? But they're on their way to Perth, and hopefully they're watching as well. But they're doing a pit stop in Melbourne for maybe 6 months, something like that.
Yep.
And even though we can't see them, they're a lot closer, and we're really happy they're here, and we can't wait for restrictions to lift. So it's nice to have them closer, and hopefully we can see them soon. So this has been really positive for us.
Just quickly add to that, sorry. Also, it's what it has done is brought a lot of small businesses and forced us to work together more. And I think that is phenomenal. I think that it's really everyone's coming together more and working towards the same goal, which I love. But
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, definitely. I think positive thing is that our little Kangaroo, if you've ever seen the Kangaroo, it's now on open for trademark. The fact that I've got it listed and trying to get it trademarked was an accomplishment. I don't know why. I think that's a really positive thing. When you're doing the day-to-day things here, all those little tiny projects that you've had on the back burner, you go, I'll get to it eventually. I finally have the space to do it. So, yeah, our Kangaroo is, please, no objections to our Kangaroo. There is a winery called Kangaroo Ridge, which I think they do great export wines. We see a lot going into China for Kangaroo Ridge wines.
I've seen them in China.
But we've got, this it's completely different. But yeah, I'm pretty proud that we got it up there. And watch that space, because I'm excited to how we can actually use the Kangaroo for the future.
I think you'll be fine. I think you'll kill it.
We've got until February next year, so hoping life's going to be completely different in February next year. But I'm excited because, as John said just before, we start working together. We're meeting you and Hoppet and Watts River. We're all working together just basically because we like what we're doing and we like the products that we're making. So. Yeah, and they're great. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sentimental.
It's the beer.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Liv, for joining us
Thank you
today.
so much. Thanks, guys.
Winos. It was really wonderful. Your wine, this wine, super delicious. And this stout. It's all in my head right now, so but I also so stay on the line. I need to actually push you off and then bring up the next what's happening in the next fortnight, because we have already organised to work on the next one. So stay on the line.
Very organised this time.
Yeah, really organised. So, for a second as I get this done, and so in 2 weeks' time, on Wednesday Winos, we're celebrating spring, and we're welcoming the winemaker from Stefani Estate, and because it's spring, we're going to be tasting their rosé, and also matching that with the Watts River Blonde Ale. So keep an eye out. We're going to be releasing those tasting packs if you wish to join in. Yeah, so.
That's awesome. Looking forward to that one.
And see you next time. So
thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.